In the last class, I was talking about special roots. So, as already mentioned, I will not be going into that detail about special roots because it is not mentioned in the syllabus properly. So, I have given you a way how to find a special root of a binomial equation. So, it is given by the form cos of, what was it? It was, we are using all those integers which are prime to n and less than n. That is cos of 2 r pi by n plus I sine 2 pi r by n, where r is an integer less than n prime to n. So that will lead to another note. The number of special roots, of x to the power n minus 1 equals to 0 is phi n. So what is this phi n? Where phi is the Euler's phi function. That means the number of special roots are how many number? Phi n. What is phi n? It gives you the number of integers less than n prime to n. So I know how many special roots are there, as many numbers which are less than n prime to n, and we have a special name for that, that is phi n. The number of special roots is phi n. For example, if I ask you how many special roots are there for the equation x to the power 9 minus 1 equals to 0. How many special roots are there? Can anybody tell me? How will you write? So number of special roots will be equal to
a to the power k minus 1 into a minus 1.
No, number of special roots. This is 9, not e. Okay, this is 9. Number of special roots is phi 9. Now you can calculate phi 9 manually also, like how many integers are there which is less than 9 and prime to 9. The integers are 1, right? 1 is a number which is prime to 9, 1. 2 is a number which is prime to 9, 2. 3 is not prime, 4 is prime to 9, 3 numbers. 5 is prime to 9, 4 numbers. 6 is not prime to 9. 7 is prime to 9, 5 numbers. 8 is prime to 9. So how many are there? 6 are there. So here I have calculated manually the number of special roots, that is how many special roots will be there for this equation. 6 special roots. Okay, but if I give you a big number, so find the number of special roots to this equation x to the power 100 minus 1 equals to 0. How many special roots will this equation possess? So the answer is very simple. It is equal to, the number of special roots equal to, this equals phi of 100. This equals phi of 100. Now the idea is how to find phi of 100. If you do it manually, it will take a lot of time. So if you know about this phi function, you can answer me this question. Phi function is multiplicative. That means I'll tell you. Now you do the prime factorization of 100. What is the prime factorization of 100? 2 square into 5 square, right? You do the prime factorization of 100. Now these two numbers are relatively prime to each other because this is 4, this is 25. Phi function may break. That means it is multiplicative. It is multiplicative. So whenever these two numbers are relatively prime to each other, and definitely they are these are distinct powers of prime, they will always distribute like this. because phi function is multiplicative. Now we have a formula for computing. You have done this in number theory, okay, in your first semester, I guess. Phi of p to the power k, where p is a prime, it is given by p to the power k minus p to the power k minus 1. This is the formula basically. Okay, so what it is, this will become 2 square minus 2, and this will become 5 square minus 5. So you can not remember the answer. So this is 4 minus 2 is 2, and this is 25 minus 5 is 20. 20 into 2 is 40. So there are 40 special roots to this equation. Am I clear? You can actually find the special roots. I have given you the formula, and you can also find the number of special roots. Number of special roots. And how many roots are not special? 100 minus 40, which is 60. Clear? I'll simply call this. I'll talk about non-special root. Non-special root. So you know about non-special root, that means which roots are non-special, which will be like, suppose I am talking about x to the power n minus 1 equals to 0. Which roots are non-special to this one? All those roots which are the roots of x to the power m minus 1 equals to 0, where m is less than n. So let me write all those things. So a non-special root of x to the power n minus 1 equals to 0 is a root of x to the power m minus 1 equals to 0 for some m less than n. So try to understand my point. This is what I have written. I want to find a non-special root of this one. So I know by the definition of a non-special root, which is not special, that means it will be a root of some smaller power. It will be a root of some smaller power, right? So instead of n, I will take here m, and m can be any number less than n. That will be a non-special root. So I know when I have a non-special root to this equation, then that will be a root of some this kind of equation for some lower power. For some lower power. Okay. Now we will try to simplify this, because it is not possible to check for all the integers less than n. It will take a lot of time. So now how do we do this? So suppose the name of that non-special root is alpha. So alpha is a root of this, alpha is a root of this. Alpha is a root of this, alpha is a root of this. Therefore, alpha is a common root to this both of them. Again, I'll repeat. Take that non-special root to be alpha, okay, and alpha is also a root of this then. That means alpha is a common root to both of them. So let me write that down. So alpha will be a common root to both of them. But what I know about the common roots, since the common roots of the equations x to the power n minus 1 equals to 0, can you tell me what about the common roots? Yes, you are correct. So basically, since the common roots of the equations, this and this are the roots of x to the power d minus 1 equals to 0, where d is the GCD of m comma n. You know this. So I know that if I am talking about a non-special root of this, that means that is also a root of some lower power. That means that non-special root is a common root for this as well as this. Now, I know what about the common roots of this two. As you said, the common roots of this and this are the roots of this equation where D is the GCD of n comma n. That means D is a divisor. GCD means what? Greatest common divisor. That means D is just a divisor of n. Right? So what will it follow? It follows that each non-special root of the equation each non-special root of the equation, this is a root of, hold on, okay, just a minute, I'll come. Yes, so it follows that each non-special root of the equation, this is a root of x to the power d minus 1 equals to 0 for some divisor which is not equal to divisor t, which is strictly less than n of n. So how will this help us? I'll tell you. So what has this given us an idea about a non-special root of this? By definition, what I know, a non-special root will be the root of that equation. Suppose x to the power m minus 1 equals to 0 for some m which is strictly less than n. So instead of checking this, what I understood that common roots of these two are the roots of equation this. That means for every divisor d of n which is strictly less than n, the non-special roots are roots of this equation. I'll tell you the advantage of doing this. For example, if I ask you, tell me the non-special roots of x to the power 9 minus 1 equals to 0. Now, what we will say, the non-special roots are given by the equations x to the power 1 minus 1 equals to 0, and then, so let me write it down. The non-special root of this are the roots of, so what you will write? All less than, right? You will write this, you will write this, you will write this, you will write this, because that is a definition of a non-special root. You will write this, you will write this, you will write this, and you will write this. The non-special roots of this equation are the roots of this equation, because that is the definition. But how will this note help us? It just reduces to this. The non-special roots of this equation are the roots of the divisors of 9. 1 is a divisor of 9, okay. 2 is not a divisor of 9. 3 is a divisor of 9, alright. It has removed all these possible cases. So the non-special roots of this equation are the roots of only this equation and this equation. So this is how this theorem will help us. Am I clear? Non-special roots of x to the power 10 minus 1 equals to 0 are the roots of divisors. What are the divisors of 10? The 1. 2 is a divisor of 10, so 2. 3 is not a divisor, 4 is not a divisor, 5 is a divisor, so x to the power 5 minus 1 equals to 0. 6 is not a divisor and none of them are divisors. So the non-special roots of this equation are just the roots of this equation, this equation, and this equation. You don't have to check for all the numbers less than 10. Okay, so this will be a very important thing. Okay. I'll do two more things from special root and then I'll move to a new topic. Okay, so let's move to something interesting. So remember, I had uh, done one thing, that when n was a prime, you start with any imaginary root of the equation x to the power n minus 1 equals to 0. You can generate all other roots. All other roots are given by 1. Suppose the imaginary root that I'm starting with alpha, and n is a prime number. So all the roots of the equation x to the power n minus 1 equals to 0 were 1 alpha square dot alpha to the power n minus 1. Right now, but when n was not a prime number, when I started with some roots, I ended with all the roots, and when I started with some another imaginary root, I may not get all the roots. So this theorem gives us a very precise answer, and this also tells us why we care about special roots. This will give you the answer that if you start with a special root of the equation x to the power n minus 1 equals to 0, you can get all the roots. But if you are not starting with a special roots, you will not get all the roots. So this is the next theorem. So this was the definition which I had given in the previous video, that if you start with a special root, you will get all the roots. So if alpha be a special root of x to the power n minus 1 equals to 0, then 1 alpha square dot alpha to the power n minus 1 is a complete list of distinct roots of x to the power n minus 1 equals to 0. So this is why we care about special roots. So with the help of special roots, you can generate all the roots. The proof is simple, but again I'm not doing the proof just because I'm not interested in the special roots topic. You can just go through the proof. It's extremely simple. So this is why we care about special roots. Special roots can generate all the roots. And when n is a prime number, any imaginary root will be a special root. So that is the reason. If you start with any imaginary root, when n is prime, you will generate all the roots. But if n is a composite number, you have to choose a special root only. Okay. So I will end the topic by ending with one last sum from the chapter. Show that the special roots of the equation x to the power 9 minus 1 equals to 0 are the roots of the equation x to the power 6 plus x to the power 3 plus 1 equals to 0. Okay, before doing the solution, can you tell me how many special roots does this equation has? How many special roots does this has? So few minutes back also I told you that this will have how many special roots? 9 special roots. What is 9? It is 6. Okay. So if I consider a equation whose roots are those special roots, it will be a equation of degree 6. This is what they have given. See, so that the special roots of this equation are the roots of, so this equation must be a 6-degree equation due to the fact that it has got 6 special roots. So with the help of those 6 special roots, if I am constructing an equation, that must be a 6-degree equation, as you can see here. We will prove it. Very simple. How will I do this? I will find out the non-special roots of this equation. I'll tell you why. So for that I need the divisors, right? So since 1 and 3 are the only divisors, we will not take 9 definitely, only divisors of 9 and less than 9. I know these are the only divisors of 9 and they are less than 9, right? The non-special roots, of the equation x to the power 9 minus 1 equals to 0 are given by the roots of x to the power 1 minus 1 equals to 0 and x to the power 3 minus 1 equals to 0. I know the non-special roots of this equation are given by this. Now you try to understand my point. What is the root of this equation? 1 is a root, but 1 already appears here. So why to consider this? So that is the reason we will find the LCM. We will find the least common multiple of these two. How will that help? That will club all the common roots together. So 1 is already a root here. 1 is a root of this which is already present here. So why to count 1 twice? So that means that is the reason we find the LCM. So LCM of x minus 1 and x cube minus 1. What is the LCM of these two quantities? What is the least common multiple of this and this? The least common multiple is x to the power 3 minus 1 itself, right? This is very obvious because x minus 1 is already present here. Because if you use the formula of a cube minus b cube, x minus 1 is already present there. So the multiple of this and this is definitely this, right? Least common multiple. That means all the non-special roots of this equation are the roots of this equation. That is very obvious because 1 is already present here, so no need to consider this. That is the reason I wrote the LCM. So LCM of this and this is this. That means the non-special root of this equation are precisely the roots of this equation. That means if I divide this by this, I will remain with the roots which are special roots of this equation. That means the special roots of x to the power 9 minus 1 equals to 0 are the roots of x to the power 9 minus 1. I will divide this by this one. That means that will remove all the non-special root equals to 0. Do you agree with me? When I am dividing this by this, that means this factor will get cancelled from here. This factor will get cancelled from here, and as a result, I will remain with all the special roots. How can you simplify this? That is, how can you have many methods of solving this. You can write this as x cube whole cube minus 1 cube and then factorize and do it. Okay, that will be easiest, I guess. You can also use the concept of GP. You can use the long term division, but I'll use the concept of GP because this can be thought of GP having first term 1 and this is r you consider. So r is x cube, so 1, and this is, you can think of x cube whole cube. The number of terms is 3, r is x cube, right, and the first term is 1. So that is 1 r square. This equals to 0. Am I clear? How did I write this one? You can either use long division I have used the concept of GP because this can be thought of x cube whole cube minus 1, and here it is 1. The first term is 1, r is x cube, and number of terms is 3 because x cube whole cube. So I have to construct a GP whose first term is 1 and r is x cube and number of terms is 3. So 1 plus x cube plus this. Am I clear? Otherwise, used x cube whole cube formula, right? X cube whole cube minus 1 cube, and apply the formula for a cube minus b cube. Hence, proof the special roots are the roots of this equation proved. So this is the concept how to find an equation whose roots are the special roots of some given equation. This completes the topic binomial equations and special roots. I did not do special roots in much detail, but I hope this much concept is enough to answer the questions which comes